ordinary magnificence. Gives everything to everyone in complete equality. The ordinary magnificence that is the creation of God has to be ordinary. It has to be ordinary for it to include everyone. To be extraordinary is to be out of the ordinary. But the ordinary magnificence is the pinnacle of everything. Magnificence is a small word that tries to convey the perfection. But even that can be held as limited, but in truth, it has no limit. You cannot have a limit. Limitless love is what you are, what everyone is as one. So how is it that anyone can look at someone, anyone, and see a different identity, a different composition? It is the belief in separation that has the power of the mind, and in that could conjure that everyone looks different and is different. One of the ways to really recognize just a touch of how it's not possible that there is a difference. And it is through every universal teaching that the awareness can come. When you are following a universal teaching of love, whatever the name of that path happens to be, every time you take a teaching, that teaching is bringing truth to all creation. And every reservation, every seeming limitation, every idea of right and wrong, and what you have done and what you haven't done, and what you've accomplished and what you haven't accomplished, all of that is a camouflage. But it's a camouflage that everyone carries as being true. But everyone carries the same beliefs. No one believes differently. For in the healing that I walked through, the most impressive truth of oneness came through a teaching. The teaching began with an admission of pain and suffering from the identity. So the teaching starts off, you think you are the home of evil, darkness, and sin. You think that if the truth were seen about you, you would have to die, recoiling from the horribleness, the hatred of being that. You think you are the home of evil, darkness, and sin. In this universal teaching, every beloved has in the past been in their own little prison of their beliefs, trying to hide as many as possible, certainly trying to hide that you consider yourself evil and dark and sinful. But when I opened to that, it was an understanding that I'm not special. I'm not special in my sense of horribleness. I'm not unique in hating deeply within. This is the illness. This is the complete illness of humanity. To one degree or another, and the illusion used levels and degrees so everything would look different. But in truth, everyone carried the same beliefs. None of them were true, but everybody carried them. And in that realization, there was a newfound compassion. Having always considered to be unique in the self-hatred, it revealed that everything was what I believed was going on inside was carried by everyone. And I didn't want them to suffer either. And in that understanding that everyone carries the same beliefs, it pulls to serve everyone, because you can realize how, if you are at a place where you can hold the truth even for 2 seconds, you are of service to all of humanity. And every time that you are willing to let go of an identity, humanity is served. A little or a lot just falls away. And the next part of that teaching was the antidote to the illness. The antidote was, why would you not be overjoyed to learn that you have done nothing to change the perfect truth that you are? Why would I not be overjoyed? And why would I not then be overjoyed for all of humanity, that humanity had done nothing? And so then it came closer and closer to my awareness that if all of humanity was in the same pain, then the idea of having pain inflicted meant nothing, because it was inflicted by the same insanity. And in truth, it was the insanity of my mind that carried the meaning of it. If I was the innocence of God, then everyone had to be the same. And what a relief that no matter what someone's identity looked like under that facade was the Christ light of creation. And it was the healing journey to discover and to embrace the reality of that love. In the hymn, "Come along, brother, let's go. Come along, sister, let's go on this path of light and love with our mother and our father and letting all pain go. My fellow travelers, whoever, wherever, come along, let's go on this path of light and love." And when you come to that place of healing, and it doesn't happen necessarily all at once, it sometimes happens over lifetimes. But when you begin to feel the exquisiteness of every little healing, when you see things in a new way, when your anxiety is starting to fade away, when your worries don't latch on as tightly, you want it for everyone. You want it because you don't want anyone to suffer. What would be the purpose of anyone suffering? So you are the light that walks into the tunnel first and walk through the tunnel, bringing light all the way through all of the darkness that has been believed to be real. You have the power of light. It is who you are, what you are. Come along, let's go on this path of light and love with our mother and our father and letting all pain go. Those words give it a simplicity. And sometimes simplicity is especially helpful because one of the ego's tricks almost is to make everything as complicated as possible. Because in confusion, you can't remember love. In confusion, you're battling between two elements of illusion. It has to be because love doesn't battle. Let's go. That's all the prayer needs to contain. As my heart opens like a flower, I become the living God. Simple, opening the heart. no longer willing to hold judgment, no longer willing to battle. And the simplicity of, I'd rather be happy than right, becomes a powerful tool of transformation. Being right in the idea of the world is to be right, that you are separate from God, that you are without the light. I'd rather be happy than right about what I thought anyone or anything was. And happiness is the permanent state of joy. Always the joy of love, that thank God healing is possible, and thank God the story within wasn't the truth. Thank God only love is real. When I feel this pain inside and I find nowhere to hide, Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. This sorrow now imprisons me. Somehow I need to be set free. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Heal me of my hurt and fear. Reveal the face of God so near. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. The safety of a mother's care, for Jesus it was always there. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Mother, rain your love on me. Thank you for the love you give in compassion for your Son I live. Mother, rain your love on me. 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 And when you sing those words, you truly are singing them for everyone. It's not personal. It's intimate, completely intimate. But you're singing for everyone's healing. Every prayer that you have in your heart, every song that you sing that is praise of God and different teachings, it's for everyone. And everyone is blessed as you offer it. It's such a beautiful gift because you don't have to say a word to anyone about it. It's just that the energy of love takes your prayers, takes your intention, takes your songs, and distributes the energy. That's how humanity will heal, through everyone's prayer, everyone's intention of love. The sun in drag. You are the sun in drag. You're hiding God hiding from yourself. Remove all the mine, the ownership. That is the veil. Why ever worry about anything? Everything is love. Listen to what your beloved teacher knows for certain. The appearance of this world is a magician's brilliant trick, though its affairs are nothing into nothing. You are a divine animal, elephant, with amnesia, trying to live in an anthole. Sweetheart, my sweetheart, you are God in drag. God in drag, sun in drag. You are God hiding from yourself. The beauty of this poem, this offering, is that it is absolutely a costume that everyone wears. I had a visitation at one point from a beautiful guide, and all of a sudden I was clothed in a costume. And the costume had changed over time. Sometimes you could call it evolving, sometimes a new incarnation, but many costumes. And what I was shown was that everyone is wearing a costume, and as you heal, and this was what I was shown at the time, every time you say yes, every time you change your mind about your mind, every time you are determined to open your heart, every prayer, every song, a thread falls out of the costume. And eventually the costume has not enough to hold it together, because the light has started to come through, and your focus of healing is that this is all you want, that you want to remember, and you want to come home, and you want to rest in God. Rest in God. I studied the calling to rest in God very deeply. And I believe that I studied it so deeply because it seemed an impossibility. Because in this world, I had never even felt the resting. So I had no idea what resting could even be. Not even the type of resting that might be in an everyday life. And it's truly true that the resting in the world is very, very limited. Because resting, truly resting, takes you to being undefended. If you feel that you have to be defended, if you believe that you're not safe, which is true of almost everyone, because of the belief of being a body, believing that you can die, and believing in the violence that is in your mind. But to really rest is a deep learning, to be undefended as you rest. What happens when most beloveds rest is they think of the body resting, but the mind stays active. The mind stays alert to being able to hear if there's a doorbell, if there's a phone ringing, being able to see. And it can be a deep learning to come into even just resting in the world. Sinking, resting. So then the teaching is come and rest in God. And eventually I rest in God. But how do you get there? The deep surrender of the body identity is essential. All of the energy bodies given to God, not holding on to anything to have to protect anything. Giving all the energy bodies to be used for love. Giving the mind to God. Take this mind. You decide what's most helpful because I don't know. Show me the way. Let me find that resting place where the mind is resting in love. And the nervous system and the heart rests, open, not needing to protect anything, just open. Rest in God. It is such a powerful place because when you learn to rest in God, you're meeting God. You're putting your faith in the power of love. You're trusting in the universal consciousness of love. It's like raising a white flag and saying, I surrender. Except what used to be the white flag of wars was for the loser. But the white flag spiritually is not a loser, but is coming home to truth and gains the whole universe of love. You are the sun and drag. You are hiding God from yourself. Remove all the mine, M-I-N-E. That is the veil. Why is the veil the mine? If you are attached to material objects in this world, if you are attached to them, you are attached to your identity. Because only the identity would be afraid of not having ownership. But what does ownership mean? It's a farce. The farce is that somewhere the ego mind is convincing that when you own something, it makes a difference. When you own something, when something is yours, it again means that you are safe or that you are more. And the ego's lie is that it's somehow forever yours, which cannot be, because the object, first of all, is temporary, made out of some material. Now, for sure, when someone believes that they have something that is old, ancient, and has survived through years and years and years, that it becomes even more important to preserve it. And it still has no meaning except the meaning that you're giving to it. And it gives you the illusion that if this thing can last forever, maybe I can last forever. Maybe if I do enough to preserve this, it'll last forever. But meanwhile, as you're trying to last forever, you aren't open to the forever that you will always live. It's letting go of the world that you've made up for the universe of love that you will eternally live within, in true life, in the life force of God. And imagine that there will be no concern about the form that it takes. If you enter into a form, you can leave the form, you can change form. You won't even want to change form or enter into any form because it's just a playground. The truth of your eternal life is beyond comprehension of this limited, temporary world. One of the main parts of this temporary world that is made up, that is so insidious, is everyone carrying the same belief in scarcity. Scarcity touches everything. To the antique that you try to preserve because there's only one, and that means something if you can preserve it. To the scarcity of elements of nature, to the scarcity of love, the scarcity of friendship, the scarcity of ownership, the scarcity of land. It goes on and on and on. And that belief in scarcity doubles up the urgency of making sure that you have enough. Enough. So the urge comes up. There's an emotional component to it that the mind uses, that when you see something and you want it, that reaction and that sense of indulgence that is familiar really wants it. And then if it really wants it, then if there's three, you probably should have all three, because there may not be any more. This is all fear that is essential to the ego's life. What if someone else has something that you don't have? Are you instantly jealous? Are you upset because they may have found something that you didn't find? Or is it that you don't know their journey and you don't know what is most helpful for their journey or not, but that for you, you're in a practice of recognizing that you support everyone's journey, even though you don't have a clue of what it needs to look like. So you can't compare. They have something, you don't have it. You can't compare whether they should have it or that you don't have it. It becomes instantly the opportunity of, I'm making something up if I am separating or confusing what someone should have or not have, or what I should have. It's all made up. And I can let it go and be free in this moment from the past attachment to comparing, envying, jealousy, or even feeling really down. You leave someone's house who has a beautiful home. Even their dog is perfect. And you go to their home and then you leave that place, and all of a sudden you feel down. You're looking at what you have and comparing it to what they have, and why do they have that and I don't have that? As if it is about worth. Here's the secret of that. The secret of that is that the illusion has to look different, and it has to keep everyone unhappy, needing more. If everyone was in divine unity, sharing everything, the ego would disappear. Not completely, but pretty close. So someone has to have more, and someone has to have less in order for the belief in scarcity to be believed. If the abundance of love, which it does, moves and offers love constantly in all ways, you would live in that trust that you will always have what is needed. But it has nothing to do with the urgency that the ego uses of trying to get, and has an insatiable, unconscious idea that more is better. Enough is enough. You have everything that you always need for peace. And there is no peace in the urgency of having to get or comparing. Or even admiring. The admiration of someone else's good fortune. It's not an admiration, it's their journey, and they're walking with it, and it's the same as everybody else's. No one is more successful than someone else, because success means that there is a journey of winning, getting ahead, getting more, learning more, whatever it is. But you are beyond success. You are the perfection of God. And there is nothing to succeed at. You are already everything. That is where the peace is. That's where the joy is. You have nothing to prove, nothing to gain, nothing to lose. The identity of an identity is very carefully orchestrated within the world. Some of the identity is emulated. You take bits and pieces from others that you admire. You take ideas of successful people and you try to behave even in a way that copies, trying to somehow get what they have. Certainly, when there's a movie that comes out and there's an outfit that everybody is attracted to, and all of a sudden the whole country is, there's not one left. They've all been bought, 10 million, whatever, to copy. And all the while that the world is going on, the guidance of love is whispering to you. And if the loud voice of the ego and its getting and its knowing can be let go, and you can come into a resting, quiet place and listen to the exquisite voice of love, it will always guide you to what is most helpful. It will always guide you to a deeper healing. It will always reassure and comfort you that all is well and that your healing, your journey of healing, is in perfection, always in perfection. Be a god in drag, but to realize that you are the creation of God, whole, complete, and perfect. Where is that perfection? That's the journey into the heart, and the journey out of the mind of the ego. Only love is real.